Hey there, everyone. We're going to wrap up our perspective lesson by making hopefully a fun little drawing. We have talked about one point being whereas if you're looking at an object or a building where the front of the object or the building is facing you, and it can move around in the space so you can see the front and the side, but it's not turned. It's still just the front. So this image I have here is one point where everything radiates back down to one point. And so you would imagine that the inside of the street would be the inside of this cube. You can also choose to do something that's 2-point, which would be a building or an object that you can see the side of it coming closest to you, and then you can see these two planes receding in space to 2 points. I chose a 1-point perspective space, and I did a Google search where I did open source imagery so that it is free to use without getting in trouble for copyright or plagiarism. And this is the town I was born in, or near the town I was born in. So what I want you to do is find a picture. I'm going to put a Pinterest board up that has lots of examples. So if you're struggling to find something, you can use it. Another good option is to drop in on Google Maps to somewhere that you want to travel or somewhere you've been. And you can grab a screenshot of that as well. I'll give some examples in the modules. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to start by finding the vanishing point. So with your ruler, I want you to line up on one of the edges and see where it lands. So I drew a little line here, and then I'm going to come from another pretty distinct line and line it up, and then make another little mark. I'll come from the other side and find a sharp edge. It's pretty easy to see. And you can see that this is where your vanishing point is. Once you've done that, once you've figured out where it's at, I should be able to do this again and again. Like if I grab the sidewalk, there's my vanishing point. So you could imagine that anywhere off that point, any of these lines on the building should line up. Top of the door, bottom of the door, sidewalk should line up with that point. Oops, I dropped off my point. Same with the other side. You can see where it hits. Okay, so then in your sketchbook, I want you to try to recreate it. So I have, I marked my point, and then I drew out a couple lines. I drew out these 4 big ones first. Then I started to kind of sketch in where the trees are. There's a little bit of a tower here, so I gestured that in. Here's the trees coming up. And then this is where the buildings are at. So like here to here. And then I'm going to come into finding this house shape. So here's this one. So you can start to see how you would build this set of buildings. Here's the next one. I'm going to find this angle here. So I come from the vanishing point. I can mark this point. So here's this. Come back to the vanishing point. Find that bottom. row. So this is where that would go. Here's the edge of the building. So you're just making a little map of where everything would end up. I could put in the columns. This front column would be bigger, and then as it recedes, they would get smaller. And then that last column would be the smallest. Back to my vanishing point to find the top of it. And so forth. So keep this as a working drawing. I just want you to kind of map out enough of the information. I'll finish mine off camera and finish out this side. But then once you're done with finding a map of it, then I want you to make a fun drawing that kind of shows some of the things that we've talked about all semester with using cool mark making and, you know, defining drawing and what that could look like. And I'm going to do a little tracing transfer. Oops. I'm just kind of holding this to the light so I can see where I need to put my vine. And I'm going to decide compositionally where I want to put it. Like if I want it right in the middle or if I kind of want it off to the side. I think I do kind of want it in the middle. And then I'm going to draw out the drawing, the space. You can use your ruler if you want, but I know in the end I'm going to keep mine kind of gestural. I think I'm going to use marker. You're going to see some examples on our example board with different ways that you can draw the drawing, and so that can help you decide how architectural or how loose and gestural you want. Look at this as I draw these little shapes are getting bigger because they're getting closer. So you, like I said, you can take as long or as little as you want for as detailed as you want this to get. I'm going to check to see that the vine is releasing. Yep. So I'll turn off the camera. I'll trace this all out and then I'll come back in a little bit and then we'll render it. Okay, see you in a sec.